there, lovely people. My name is Sophia and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. Today I'm building in Selvadorada, which is the world that came with the Sims 4 Jungle Adventure, and today I am doing a shell challenge. This shell challenge is by sunnysimsie. She has a YouTube channel. If you haven't seen her content, I would highly recommend checking it out. She is lovely and I love watching her videos. And this is, I think, her second shell challenge, and as soon as I saw that video, I had to jump on it. I had to do it. So here we are in Selvadorada, and that's why there's already a shell here, because I can't add any more walls. And this also has to count as a tiny home because I am in Selvadorada. You can't make it a tiny home, but I did check how many tiles it was, like in another world, and it was 75 tiles, so under 100, so it works perfectly fine. And yeah, I imagine this house was for a botanist, so I'm getting out a grass roof here, and there's also that nice big skylight for the upper story of the house. It's really cramped inside, but I really did enjoy doing this. It took me so long to figure out though, because this build for some reason gave me such a headache. I originally started working on this in Brightchester, and after a while I figured it really wasn't fitting into that world anymore, so I moved it over here to Selvadorada, and I'm so happy I did. It's really great. It looks nothing like my original attempt at this shell. Originally I was going for like minimal, plain white, and then I gave up because I wanted to add lots and lots of plants, because we did still get the Blooming Rooms kit fairly recently. It's no longer the latest kit as I'm doing this voiceover, because the modern menswear kit just came out, but the latest build kit is still the Blooming Rooms kit, and I love that kit, and I wanted to use a few more of the items that I hadn't gotten a chance to use yet. But I wanted the outside of this house to look very overgrown, so I used so many plants. Lots of plants from Jungle Adventure itself, in the live edit menu, and also just in the catalogue. And these yellow flowers that came with the live edit menu from Cottage Living. They're called Dark-Eyed Daisies or something like that, because I use a mod by Twisted Maxi that lets me have live edit objects in like the regular catalogue where you'd expect them to be. So yeah, they're called Dark-Eyed Daisies, and they're really pretty. I love the yellow colour. But I use lots of yellow and orange flowers and plants in the landscaping. I really wanted it to look overgrown, but not messy or unkept, because I did imagine it was a botanist living here, so they know a thing or two about plants, and I just really wanted to do something overgrown. I really wanted to use those ivy bits that I used lifted up on the roof, just because I've seen so many people use those to make overgrown looking houses, and I just was really feeling like it. But I ended up getting a bike over there by that like planter, and I'm just currently lining out the landscaping. Because this is a tiny home, most of the space on the lot is outdoor space, so it took me a very long time to finish off the landscaping, but I'm happy with how it looked. I did have to cut a bit of it out just because it was very long, and this is a longer video than I thought it would be, considering this is a tiny home. And it's currently 23 minutes without screenshots, which is quite a bit. But I like this build, so I'm not too worried about it. But here I'm adding a little overhang over that window that came with the Industrial Loft kit, and I also used the archway that came with that kit going onto the back balcony, because that has to be my favorite set of like windows and doors we've gotten in any packs so far, even though there's literally only 2 of them and it came with a kit, and most people were kind of disappointed in that kit because, you know, we got that false advertised window that was added to base game the other day. I don't really like that window though, so it doesn't really bother me too much. I would have been fine if they never added it. But yeah, I really like the window and door that came with that kit, so I use it all the time. I'd probably overuse it, but I really wanted to use it here. But right now I'm just picking out the stairs because I couldn't find a pair of stairs. Is that a phrase? Pair of stairs? I'm rhyming on accident. I couldn't find a pair of stairs that matched with the foundation. I think that foundation's from Seasons, and I thought it would work very well here. I wanted to use a lot of stones and a lot of bricks, but as you can probably see, I'm still lining out way more landscaping. But over here, nestled is going to be a little fire pit, and I use that bench there. I think it's from Island Living, and I don't know, does the game let you place sofas, regular sofas around fire pits? Because I know it technically does, but as soon as my playtester sim lit that fireplace, immediately the bench was on fire, and I didn't understand that, because I didn't think it was too close because it snapped to it. So that was confusing. So if you have any problems, I would switch out that bench to something possibly less flammable. I don't really know. I don't know how fire mechanics work in the game. I rarely ever get fires. I know some people are haunted by them constantly, but I barely ever get fires. Which is probably going to bite me in the butt because I never put fire alarms in my regular houses because I never get fires. But one day it's going to kill all my Sims. But you could see me add that bench thing over there with the lounge chair right here. That bench came with the Blooming Rooms kit, and I hadn't gotten a chance to use it yet, even though it is a lovely object. It honestly looks like a piece of CC, and I love it dearly. I get some little seedling plants. I don't know the terms for plants, but it looks like sprouting new ones. Don't know the correct terminology for it. I am not a plant person, but I've said that too many times, so I won't say that again. But I use so many different plants in the landscaping. I use some from Island Living, and of course, Jungle Adventure. I just really like how it came out. I use those bromeliads, which I never get a chance to use because, well, I feel like they only fit into Selvadorada, and I don't build here very often. Like I said, this is the first time I built here, but I find that funny that I don't think bromeliads would fit in any other worlds, because if you didn't know, I live in New Zealand, and New Zealand is certainly not in South America or anywhere near tropical, and yet I have so many bromeliads growing in my garden, like they're everywhere, which I find hilarious because I, even in my own head, feel like bromeliads only exist in South America, even though I have them growing in my yard. But I was very happy to use them here, and I was also very happy with how the terrain paint turned out. Very simple, but I thought this base game terrain paint blended perfectly into the existing terrain outside of the lot, and I was very proud of it. And I was dreading whether or not I was going to get that glitch where all the terrain paint disappears, but I didn't, and I was so happy. But here I'm making a little brazier thing using the tool mod, because I see these a lot in documentaries and stuff where there's an archaeology or wildlife campus of sorts in the middle of the jungle. So I put one here. I used some balconies from base game and that brazier torch thing from Get Famous. I never think it's from Get Famous. I always think it's from Island Living, because we did get a few torch things from Island Living, but no, that one was from Get Famous. Get Famous has such a wide variety of stuff purely because it was made to fit with all of the different sets for the acting career, but Get Famous is actually pretty good. I really like the stuff that came with that pack, so yeah, I was just very surprised to be able to use that brazier here, but it worked really well. But here I'm just grabbing quite a few live edit objects that came with Cottage Living, because I don't know, I really like the garbage that came with that pack, which is strange to say, but the rusted down tools and stuff are so cool. But this is the little blocked off backyard thing. I just lined it with fences, and here I'm using that banner post thing that I don't really know how to describe. It came with City Living, and I thought it was very cute. I just really liked the pop of red back here, and I thought it was really nice. I never really used those streamer things from City Living just because they're kind of weird to use. They're very colorful, they're very niche, but I liked it here. I was also very happy to use that sundial, which I'm pretty sure came with Get Together. And as you can probably see, there is laundry on this lot. It took me a while to place down a laundry hamper, and it wasn't accessible when I play tested it, but the entire laundry system works perfectly fine here. And you'll see me placing a lot of plant pots around, and I did test whether my sim could get to all of those plant pots to, plant things. And the ones that my sim couldn't access, I put a fern in. So if you want them to be accessible, you're going to have to move them around, but I like them for decoration. But here is a swing set I put over in the corner to fill in some null space, and I used the tool mod to rotate a rusted down wheel from the Cottage Living live edit menu just to look like junk decor. I'm not really sure I liked how it looked. I was actually really proud of myself for thinking of that. I just really love the tool mod and all the things it allows you to do. If you hear any strange noises, my dog is here with me, so don't worry about him. I feel like I'm always saying that my pets are here and being loud, but I live in a small place. There's not really many rooms where I live, so it's kind of hard to scooch away my cat and my dog so they don't interfere with voiceovers. But here I'm back at the fire pit area adding a bar, and this bar is actually from Realm of Magic, and I thought it worked really nicely over here. I was trying to use the one from Jungle Adventure, but it just wasn't like fitting what I wanted, and this one from Realm of Magic worked perfectly. But here's this greenhouse. I don't know if I mentioned this, but if I didn't mention it, there is a greenhouse here, and I just get some plant pots in the greenhouse later, but I grabbed out this signboard from Seasons, and I know it's covered in roller skating advertisements, which is kind of strange, but I was thinking it was more sort of a local news board planning their expeditions into the jungle to investigate the flora, because, you know, botanist, which is pretty much like plant person, but scientist. So I know, like, in the career, actually, for some reason your sim needs a cow plant, and I didn't put a cow plant here, so if you actually wanted to play with a botanist on this lot, you're gonna need a cow plant. But this is the back of the greenhouse. Very interesting. I get a woodworking table back here because I wanted to make sure there were some skill building opportunities here other than just gardening. So I also get a flower arranging table inside the greenhouse, and I was trying to find a good spot for an archaeology table, but I just couldn't figure it out. The archaeology table is so awkwardly tall. I don't know, I just feel like it always looks really wonky and out of place, so I don't use it. But if you wanted an archaeology table, there is plenty of outdoor space for you to plop it down. But I just get some plants and a lamp and stuff outside of the greenhouse, and then I should be going into it. I'm not really sure. I might go onto the interior first. No, we are decorating the greenhouse with lots of live edit cottage living items and this plant from Laundry Day that I never get to use because it is massive and it's very hard to use on interiors because it is so big, and I don't really put a lot of focus on exteriors in my builds. I really like interior decorating more, I'd say, so I never get to use this plant, so I was happy to use it here. But I just get tons of plants in here. I get some a broom and dustpan from Laundry Day and these little hanging signs from the free holiday pack, and I'm so excited about the free holiday pack recently because it's going to be getting an update very, very soon, and I love getting free content, which who doesn't? So I'm very excited for what we get in the update. But you could have seen me make a cut there because I added some Debug fairy lights that came with Cottage Living. Cottage Living has the best debug menu, hands down, and I use it all the time, but it was very hard to get them to sit where I wanted to. I used the tool mod for that, so you don't have to watch me suffer. I placed them off camera, but this is a little shelving unit from Island Living that I placed right beside the door just to hold plants, shoes, watering can, just stuff you'd like to grab before you go out, but you don't necessarily want to bring inside because they might be messy. I'm not really sure. I also just have lots of plants on this tiny deck. I think this is a 3-tile deck, and there's so much stuff on here. But that door itself is from Moschino because I really liked how the color of it blended into the wall color, which is from City Living. But I'm using these Cottage Living lanterns, hanging them off the overhang that came with Realm of Magic. I was very excited to use that overhang because it's so pretty, but I never build in Glimmerbrook, at least not in the overdone magical style it's meant to be built in as, so I never used that, and I was so happy to use it here. I really like how it looks. But we're already onto the interior. I'm pretty sure I cut out the floor plan because, I don't know, for the sake of time, it wasn't too hard. I also spent way too long trying to figure out what door to use there, so I cut that out, but I grabbed another window situation from Moschino, and I just get some shelves and shoes and your normal entryway clutter. That door leads off to the one and only bathroom because this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house that can sleep up to 2 Sims because both sides of the double bed upstairs are accessible. But yeah, it's not a very exciting entryway. I kind of struggled with deciding what to place on those Jungle Adventure shelves I put on the wall. I don't know, I was really struggling with it. I placed things and deleted them and replaced them like so many times, so I cut that out so you won't have to watch me suffer. But I'm just using this like clothing rack thing, or is it a hutch? I don't really know what you'd call that. It is from Seasons and it's a very nice object. The only thing I recognize about that object is that like CC creators have harvested all of the hanging clothing off of it to make more content, and I don't know, I just find it really funny and really cool how CC creators just yoink the bits of content we have and turn them into something even better. But I also use those ceiling lamps everywhere in the house, but when I was taking the screenshots, they were very, very big, so I sized them down a few times before I upload this to the gallery because they were just a bit too big for my liking. But there is going to be a fireplace right here. That one is from Parenthood, and this will be the kitchen area. It is very small, but this house is fully play tested. There's only a mini fridge, but my Sims could cook here very easily. Those counters are from Spa Day, and if you've been around on my channel for quite a while, you will know that I love that green swatch of those base game curtains. It only came out recently, but I've managed to use it in almost every build I've done since that update. But it's so good, I really love it. And with this coffee table, I did end up having to scooch it back in my playtesting because my sim could not light the fireplace, and I really wanted them to be able to do that, so I just scooched things around. It looks pretty much the same. But I also do this thing which I always do. If there's an awkward gap in the counter space, I just place a shelf and then I put the garbage bin underneath the shelf, which I always do. And I created a little bookcase built-in situation using some tiny living bookcases and cabinets from Dreamhome Decorator, and I'll be getting the dining space over here. There is only 3 chairs, but because I imagine only 2 Sims lived in this house, I didn't think it was a problem. But I get quite a few hanging plants in here just because I had blooming rooms on the brain. It's such a good kit. I use those plants all the time. I feel kind of awkward about just how often I use the Industrial Loft kit because I know not everyone likes kits. And now we've got the Blooming Rooms kit, which I will be using constantly. So if you don't like kits, I'm very sorry if you want to get my builds. But here I use the tool mod to lower down those wall dividers that came with Eco Lifestyle, just because I wanted a way to separate the office space because I will be getting a computer back there. But for now, I'm adding some decorations to the fireplace. I'm using these ceramic pots, vases, I don't really know what you call them, but they are from Jungle Adventure, and I just really liked how they looked. And I get some more plants and a TV remote from the Debug menu, and yeah, I'm very happy with the decorations I put on top of this fireplace because, I don't know, I really struggle with fireplaces. I feel like they always look awkward or empty or too cluttered, but I'm really happy with how this one came out. And I also gave the Sims a gaming console. It is just tucked behind that cottage living plant there, just because I feel like more activities is always the best when it comes to lots in the Sims, just because it gets pretty boring if your Sims only have the same activities to do every day. But I used that laundry day side table behind the Snowy Escape couch there, and we are moving on to the office space. I used 2 single tables from Snowy Escape, and I merged them together to create one big desk because I really like the pattern on the top of it. And then I used a 3rd table to put the computer on, and then I shrunk it down and hid it under an ottoman, and the computer is fully functional. I did have to delete the pair of shoes sitting in the entryway because they blocked my sim from being able to get back here, but it works perfectly and my sim could access it. And I also added a heater back there, which I know is kind of weird because you have a fireplace right there, and in the Sims you really only need 1 heat source, but I liked how it looked, and I had some empty null space that I wanted to fill in. But I'll just be cluttering up the desk with some books and boxes and a lamp from Outdoor Retreat and another book. This book came to base game when we got the freelance career update, and I use it in almost every single one of my builds ever. But here I will be grabbing out a meditation stool from Spa Day to rotate with the tool mod to look like a cushion on this laundry day chair, and I will also be getting another hanging plant on top of this chair later. But I've also been using these Strangerville columns throughout the build just because I love the columns that came with Strangerville. I wish there was more versatile swatches on them because I use them all the time. It's so good. Strangerville is actually a pack I use all the time And I remember when it came out, I didn't have The Sims at the time it came out, but I remember everyone was so upset about Strangerville being released. And at the time, I was thinking, why are they complaining? It looks great. And I still hold that mentality because I really do enjoy Strangerville and I use its items all the time. But here I added a little scouting trophy because I was imagining the Sim here was a scout when they were little. And I just thought it was cute to think that they were a scout growing up and now they've finally made it and they are exploring the jungle. And I added a little sign above that coat rack there because I imagined that those bricks were covered in like whiteboard paint. That's not exactly what it's called. Like chalkboard paint. That's what I'm going for. Whiteboards and chalkboards are very different things. But I like to add those in my builds because it gives me an excuse to use all the stickers and stuff that came with Dine and Get to Work and various other packs, because otherwise I'd never get to use them. And some of them are pretty interesting. I just imagine they're strange, I don't know, motivational signals or something. I don't really know. What do people put on walls in their kitchen? I know there's always like live, laugh, love phrases in some people's kitchens, but not mine, so I wouldn't know. But this is the one and only bathroom. Only 3 tiles, but fully functional. I got a toilet, sink, shower in here. My Sim had no routing issues, which is hilarious that this is the one part of this house that I didn't have a routing issue with, and it is 3 tiles. And I had routing issues in other places, but I used those blinds from Island Living that I don't think I've ever used, but they're really cool. I was very happy to use them here. But this is the upstairs, which is pretty much all bedroom. I think I'll also be popping back downstairs to add some Toddler stuff pack fairy lights down there, but this bed is from Island Living and I really do like this bed, and I was very happy with how that Realm of Magic green circle rug underneath it looked. I just thought it looked so cool. But I cut out a little bit of the fairy light placement because it took me way too long, but I still wanted you to see it. And I also had a few curtain difficulties here, but I didn't end up using those blinds over these smaller snowy escape windows. But I get a bit of a gallery wall situation going on here, not quite, but I wanted that wall, which is that reddish brown brick from Snowy Escape. I wanted it to look really cluttered. The upstairs is a bit more cozy and warm than the rest of the house, I'd say, but I really like how it looked. And I did tuck a meditation stool under that side table, which of course it's not accessible underneath the side table. I just imagined it was there for storage, so your Sims can just pull it out. You can pull it out in live mode to let your Sims meditate somewhere and then pop it right back underneath there when you're done with it. But I combined that base game vase with a base game plant just to make it look more interesting. I think that vase was added in the Hispanic Heritage Month update, if I'm not mistaken, and I really like it. It has some really fun patterns on it. But this is the dresser for the upstairs because of course it's a bedroom, you need a dresser. It's from Cats and Dogs. I get one of these little storage boxes and a few plants and things. And the funniest realization I had with those storage boxes the other day, I didn't realize they were functional. I thought the only functional storage box in the game came with Eco Lifestyle, and I was so surprised when this thing was actually functional. So if you didn't know, you can store stuff in there, like collectibles and things, or like a soccer ball if your Sims are suddenly addicted to football. If you have Discovery University and a soccer ball on your lot, you'll probably know what I mean. But this is the end of the video. I'm just placing a picnic table, and here we are at the screenshots. So I just wanted to say thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can hit the like button. You could tell me in the comments what you thought. It would absolutely make my day. And make sure you check out sunnysimsie and all the other entries for her shell challenge because it is so much fun. And yeah, hope you have a great day. Bye.